Local farmers in the Gambia have raised concerns over the lack of access to fertilizer in some areas, as farmers have also complained about the high prices and lack of adequate fertilizer for their crops. Now, women farmers emphasize that fertilizer is the most important thing for them to boost their crops, while noting that the gateway to sustainable agriculture production is fertilizer. Our reporter Yahya Jammeh tells us more of that in this report.
Ahead of the 2024 to 2025 farming season, the government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Agriculture, informed farmers that there is enough fertilizer available for this season, while emphasized that the price of fertilizer will be reduced for the farmers. According to the government, a total stock of 479,000 bags and 23,000 metric tons of fertilizer was in the country, while an additionally 5,000 metric tons and 100,000 bags was expected to arrive in the few months after the initial announcement. This brings the total stock of fertilizer to 579,000 bags or 28,000 metric tons for the year 2024 to 2025. Despite these initiated measures, most farmers believe that the government didn't put enough efforts into improving agricultural productivity and provide enough fertilizers for reasonable price. Fatoumata Toure, a farmer and a vendor at the Coastal Road Market, spoke on the high cost of fertilizers. She further appeals to the government to help in the provision of adequate fertilizer.
Fertilizer costs a fortune for us farmers in the Gambia. For instance, if I should be buying a whole bag, I end up getting it by cup due to tight finances. I can't afford enough, and that affects some parts of my garden. I'm really asking the government to hook us up with affordable fertilizers. We need to make a living and feed our families, and that I can't do without a little help on the fertilizer front by the government.
Also commenting on the lack and high cost of fertilizer, Usman Low, a fertilizer and crop seed seller at the Coastal Road Market, also gives significant point on the high price and lack of fertilizer that farmers are currently facing.
I
believe that it is going to be cost because the Gambia is not producing fertilizer and it is coming from another country. The people who usually bring this fertilizer in the country said where it is coming, it is very expensive there, and they also paid a whole tax price to remove it from the port. The government has to help us reduce the tax from the port in order to help us and farmers to get the fertilizer at a reasonable price. As far as the government is not producing it, we also can't tell these producers to reduce it.
Another
farmer and a vendor at the Coastal Road Market, Sieni Fati, raised similar concern about the lack and high cost of fertilizer in the agricultural industry. Mrs. Fati said she has been a farmer for a long period of time but continue to face challenges.
Gardening is not a walk in the park. Fertilizer hits us farmers hard in the pocket, as it is a pricey deal. Without enough fertilizer stuff and insect poison, our gardens are in a pickle, as most crops catch diseases, leading to crop failures. I'm urging the government to cut some slacks on fertilizer costs. We don't need handouts, just a helping hand to slash those prices. Insufficient supplies and insecticides and fertilizers spell disaster for our crops. It is a real headache for us farmers.
Despite the primary role in the agriculture sector in the economy, its performance and shared in most key socio-economic indicators in the past decade have not been consistent. And there has been greater progress on improving economic growth since so many years back. The government of the Gambia had assured farmers of its fullest support and that of President Barrow in the provision of fertilizer as well as equipment. Reporting for Eyeafrica News, I am Yahya